Time now for our recruiting spotlight, and let's start things off by spotlighting the number 4 quarterback in the 2026 class, the number 1 player in the state of Tennessee, Jared Curtis. He is expected to make his decision on Monday, May 5th. He named Georgia and Oregon as his 2 finalists after eliminating a few other contenders like Auburn, Alabama, South Carolina, Ohio State, Florida State, and Ole Miss. So it's down to 2. And speaking of 2, there's still 2 of us in studio, but a new one here. Tom Loy, our national recruiting analyst, here to help us out with some of these upcoming commitments. Jared Curtis, what's the latest we're hearing on him?
You nailed it. Down to 2. Oregon and Georgia. He's going to announce at 4:30 Central Time, 5:30 Eastern Monday afternoon. And over the last couple weeks, I was leaning heavily towards Oregon. Now everybody around him says it is a coin flip. It's 50-50. The decision is not made. One day he's feeling Oregon, one day he's feeling Georgia. I think people inside the family are kind of preferring the Bulldogs. I think that they were very happy when he once committed to Georgia, not so much when he decommitted to open up his process. I think, and I wrote this today at 247sports.com, I think that Jared's gut feeling, his heart, I think it's kind of leaning towards Oregon. So I'm going to lead towards Oregon because I think in the end that's what Jared wants. But again, everybody around him says he doesn't know for sure. He's going to meet with Mike Bobo at Georgia and Will Stein at Oregon. He's going to meet with them once, potentially twice this week before he makes a decision. And then somebody even told me that, yes, they have a decision made for Monday, announcement made for Monday afternoon. There is still an outside shot that it gets postponed because it's that close. So, again, don't look for any crystal ball predictions. I think we're just going to let this one play out, but it's back and forth. And there could be some interesting repercussions and how this kind of plays out, because I know we've been talking about Jackson Cantwell, 5-star offensive tackle for a long time, one of the top players in the country. Miami's the lone crystal ball pick on his profile, but it wouldn't shock me if he ends up kind of seeing where Jared decides to go. Cantwell's strong considering Oregon and Georgia. It wouldn't shock me if those guys, they talk regularly. I know that for a fact. One decision from Jared could play a big factor in Jackson of who he wants to protect in college.
Yeah, we talk about quarterback dominoes, but there's anytime a quarterback commits, we're always keeping an eye on who are the guys that he's going to bring with him. I try to do my best by throwing out the rankings and all the stats and everything, but just put into perspective for us, how sought after a player is he?
Jared Curtis is an incredible talent. I think I've seen him in person more than most of the analysts across the country, but he is an incredible talent. He's got the arm strength. He's got the physical tools that you look like he could be a college junior right now. I mean, he's a guy who could step on a field right away, make an impact. He's got it between the ears. He's more athletic than people give him credit for at 6'4", 225. You see him kind of running around. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of the guys that he plays against look like me, and that's not a good thing. I'm 5'7"-ish, and but Jared is a tremendous talent. Kind of wish he was 100% healthy. Would have loved to see him at the Elite 11 Regional in Nashville. Think he would have lit it up. I think he would put together one of the most dominant performances at the Elite 11 Finals. It's probably not going to happen just because he's not 100%. But incredible talent. I think he's got some special traits. Very, very excited about Jared Curtis and his potential, not only in college. Wouldn't shock me if he's a day 1 pick in the NFL draft.
I'm going to keep an eye on Jared Curtis potentially committing on Monday, but man, this seems like an incredibly close race. We love when we have no idea what's going to happen. We do know what's going to happen on this YouTube channel over the next few days, and that is that we are bringing you tons of live commitments. And one of them we want to preview here. On Sunday, we've got Kayden Dixon-Wyatt. The wide receiver will make his college choice right here on the 247 Sports YouTube channel. His finalists, Alabama, Ohio State, Oregon, Texas, and USC. He's a top 60 prospect overall, so what are you hearing on him?
So USC, right there in his backyard, he goes to Mater Dei. They were late to offer. It was the offer. To be completely clear, I think if USC offered early, he would be committed right now. That opened the door. Them taking their time opened the door for Oregon. I think the Ducks were trending in a very positive direction. They've done a great job with this process. Head coach Dan Lanning, the rest of the staff doing a great job. Ohio State's also one to watch. The Buckeyes have been all over him. It's wide receiver U, Brian Hartline making him a priority. A lot of love for Ohio State. So I think if you take that group of 5 and you narrow it down to 3, I think when Kayden Dixon-Wyatt makes his decision, it's going to be Oregon or Ohio State. USC is going to battle over the next couple days. Kayden Dixon-Wyatt knows where he wants to go. He's got his mind made up. But I do think that it's a lot of back and forth between Oregon and Ohio State. I think he's got some tough conversations to have. We'll see if somebody changes his mind USC is doing all they can. I'm going to give a slight edge to Oregon right now, but like I said, really close with Ohio State.
Wow, okay, so it could be a great couple of days for Oregon getting
They could use
potential
it.
quarterback and wide receiver. I know, Oregon always struggles so
Yeah.
much in recruiting. Hopefully, they finally hear some wins this weekend. But not the only live commitment that we will bring you here on this YouTube channel. We've also got top 130 prospect Javian Osborne. He will join us live to make his commitment, and he's made it kind of easy on us, right? Just a few finalists there with Michigan and Notre Dame. What do we need to know about this prospect and his ongoing recruitment?
Looking forward to being there, hosting it live on Saturday. Going to be in Dallas. Going to be a lot of fun. Notre Dame, Michigan. No crystal ball picks really. I think there's some buzz around. I mean, it's, obviously you have some Michigan writers that think that for a while that it was Michigan. Got some Notre Dame guys feeling the same way about Notre Dame. I'm giving the edge to the Fighting Irish. I think as soon as Jawan Sider, we've talked about him on the show, the Jawan Sider effect. He is an elite recruiter. I think that right there was kind of the point where Notre Dame became a major player. Head coach Marcus Freeman got involved. Again, Michigan got the last visit. They've done a great job throughout his process. There was a point where he was going to commit to Michigan. But again, once Jawan Sider got to Notre Dame, this one got really close. I'm going to give the edge to Notre Dame. But again, a couple days left. Both schools are still talking to him. We'll see if anything changes.
Ain't over yet. Looking forward to that one on Saturday. We have one tomorrow with the number 7 quarterback in the 2027 class. That is Trae Taylor. He will commit. He's one of the top prospects in Illinois, top 70 overall in the country. His finalists are one of the home state teams in Illinois. Also got LSU, Nebraska, and Texas A&M. So with all of those teams vying for Trae Taylor's pledge, we asked our team site reporters to tell us where he stands with each of those finalists.
I think Illinois has a lot going for it in the recruitment of Trae Taylor. First of all, they are just a few hours south of where he grew up, and he has a lot of family in Central Illinois, and his uncle Winston played at the University of Illinois from 2002 to 2003, so there's a lot of familiarity there, and Trae has been to campus so many times. But also, Illinois has just really improved as a program during Trae's recruitment. They just won 10 games last year. Plus, their quarterback development has really improved under Barry Lunny, their offensive coordinator. Tommy DeVito went from Illinois to starting games for the New York Giants. And now Luke Altmaier returns for his 3rd season as one of the best quarterbacks in the country and potentially their first draft pick at the position since 2002, dating all the way back to Kurt Kittner. So they have shown that they can develop quarterbacks, and they've gone from one of the worst passing attacks in the Big Ten before Lunny arrived to one of the best in the Big Ten. Plus, Illinois quarterbacks coach Art Sikowski has done a really good job recruiting Trae Taylor, and they're really pitching him on being one of the best in-state recruits, one of the best quarterback recruits they've had in a long time. They're really selling him on being a home state hero.
The case for Trae Taylor really starts in the fact that he's been to LSU multiple times, and he and his family have developed a really good relationship with offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach Joe Sloan. Now, Joe Sloan has been praised as a guy that obviously has helped develop quarterbacks there as well. Gary Nussmeier looking to make the jump here in year 2 in the system. Jaden Daniels just a couple of years ago in that Heisman Trophy winning season. So it makes sense to why Taylor would be considering LSU as one of his options as decision day comes. But here's the kicker too. Taylor is a talented quarterback, can make nearly every single throw you want, but the big thing is his ability as a facilitator, ability to get the ball out in space to playmakers, and that's something that LSU tends to have a lot of. So if Taylor wants to be a facilitator, wants to be that point guard type of quarterback and be able to distribute to some really good talent, then LSU could be the place for him. The Tigers are in on several 2027 quarterbacks, and Trae Taylor is near the top of that list.
There could be a good fit for Nebraska and Trae Taylor. The Huskers have done a good job loading up its quarterback room with Matt Rule, and Taylor could be the next one in the 2027 class. This is a guy that's been to Nebraska several times already this spring, including recently here this past Saturday for the Husker games. Taylor has said in the past he feels very comfortable in Lincoln. He likes the environment. He likes the campus. He likes the program. He likes the coaches. And fit means a lot. And I think there's a strong fit here as well for Nebraska and Taylor, because this is a guy that could come in 2027, no Dylan Raiola anymore, and conceivably compete as a true freshman for that next starting position at quarterback for Nebraska. And so this is definitely one to watch if you're a Nebraska fan.
Texas A&M already has their quarterback in the 2026 class in Helaman Kasuga. On Thursday, one of their top targets in the 2027 cycle will come off the board when Trae Taylor announces his decision. Texas A&M is one of the finalists after hosting Taylor a pair of times this spring. The first came on a little bit quieter of a recruiting weekend, but that was actually by design. So the A&M staff really got to spend some time with him, breaking down the film, discussing how he'd fit in. And he had high praise for that trip, saying at the time that regardless of where he committed down the line, he was going to be back for a game in the fall in College Station. And we've seen the power of those game day environments and how they've been able to kind of shift recruitments in the past. He returned late in the spring for a visit that he said he really got to know the coaching staff on a deeper level. And that was something he really enjoyed, got to spend a lot of time with Colin Klein, Josh Buford, the rest of the staff, and has had really high praise for his 2 trips down to College Station. Now, the Aggies are squarely in the mix for Taylor. There's some stiff competition, some other schools that also have made a really strong impression, but the Aggies find themselves in the hunt for one of the top quarterbacks in the 2027 class.
So once Trae Taylor makes his commitment with us tomorrow, these team sites will be all over it. So make sure that you are locking in to the Illini Inquirer, Go 24/7, Husker 24/7, and Gig'em 24/7. So I listen to all of that and I think, I don't know what the heck is going to happen. So that's why we got the expert here. What's the latest intel with Trae Taylor?
It is my job to know. I do think that Nebraska's got the edge right now heading into his decision. I know he's still talking to schools. Trae Taylor is all about relationships, and I've gotten to know him a little bit over the last couple of years, seen him in person a bunch of times, and, you know, he's got great connections at Illinois. He's got great connections at LSU and Texas A&M. And Nebraska as well. And I think that that's probably what he's looking for. He's not a kid just looking for money. He's not a kid looking for a guaranteed starting spot. He's looking for a place that's going to allow him to develop on and off the field and really take his game to the next level. I mean, our own Smoke Dixon, he's going to talk about it more on Thursday during the commitment, but he called him an elite processor, and that's exactly what he is. He's fun to watch in person. I think he's grown a ton over the last 2 years, and I'm very, very excited about his future on the football field. I was telling Smoke earlier that I once saw him nearly in tears on the football field during a 7-on-7 game, just because he's that passionate, he cares that much about this game. So he's not a kid that I would bet against. I like Trae Taylor a lot, and I think that, like I said, my gut feeling is I like Nebraska now. Long way to go. You talked about it, 2027 kid. I like the Huskers, but this is going to be a battle all the way to the end.
Yeah, so much maturity from such a young prospect as well. You like what you've seen so far. Still so much left to play for him, but we will bring you that live commitment tomorrow. Tom Loy, you're going to be all over these live commitments over the next few days, so we appreciate you joining us at #CommitHQ. Once again, Trae Taylor tomorrow. You just heard a lot about him. All my Illinois, LSU, Nebraska, and Texas A&M fans, tune in. Then we have running back Javian Osborne on Saturday, so Michigan and Notre Dame involved with him. And then on Sunday, wide receiver Kayden Dixon-Wyatt, Bama, Ohio State, Oregon, Texas, and USC fans, listen up. We've got all top prospects, all live right here on the 24/7 Sports YouTube channel.